Welcome back to Press Club with me, Jenna and Gastor. The first segment already for me has been very interesting and very intriguing, but we're going to take you away from the politics and we're going to jump into a little more of government issues. I would call it fuel prices.
Economics. Politics to economics.
I had a story on the news sometime this week. I went to Mr. Mbet Saint-Gis. I wanted to know what would be the price of fuel right now, today, if we had stuck to the 3 months mechanism versus the 3-week mechanism. Because I'm seeing an increase in the pump every month. There's an increase every month. They put out the press release and we're going up, and it seems like we're going right back to where we, began. And it also dawned on me that when there was this whole hue and cry over fuel prices, there was a big march in Castries. Everybody dressed up in orange, and it was headed by Alan Chastney and the UWP members. And now I'm not hearing anything. Where are they to tell the people why it is? We're hearing the taxi drivers arguing. We're hearing the bus drivers saying it's going back up. Where are they to tell them why it's going back up? Why are they not explaining the system now, the 3 weeks versus the 3 months? So it piqued my interest. I went to Mr. Mbet Saint-Gis, and it was
That's the guy at the Ministry of Finance.
Yes, yeah. Director of research and
research and policy.
And it was very surprising that he said to me, if we had stuck to the 3 months mechanism, gas would be $1.47 lower than it is today.
Yeah, it all has to do with the frequency with which we are assessing our prices. Like you correctly pointed out, there was a 90-day, 3 month period, and then came this demonstration where people were essentially made to believe that the government was robbing, hoarding, stealing the profits that could have been shared. And in as much as the government said that was not so, it's easier to convince people that they are being cheated than they are being assisted. It piques your interest if you're told, and if you're being told that, listen, the price is going down and Kenny is keeping it because he'll keep it for 3 months before he shares it with us, so why don't we have it every month? It has gone to every 3 weeks, and we have witnessed what you have just observed, and that is in keeping with Mr. Saint-Gis and the petroleum people. I remember, because it is being made, it is an economic issue that has been politicized by virtue of the march and the response. But at the end of the day, essentially, it is an economic issue which is beyond our control. And I can remember Mr. Everest Jamari, who used to be an independent senator some time ago, and who has never expressed a partisan political interest, but like Mr. Richard Peterkin and others who are experts in their field, they are approached by us to give us, you went to Mr. Saint-Gis.
Yes.
The average guy goes to Mr. or used to go to Mr. Jamari.
Right.
And I can remember him during that period of the discussion as to whether we should stay 90 days or go to 30 days. He came out and explained that it would not necessarily have been in the interest of consumers to go to a shorter assessment period, because the volatility of the oil price on the world market is something we don't have control over.
No control, actually.
No control over at all. And therefore, whether we go 90 days or we go 30 days or we go 21 days, we are still not the ones who are going to.
We're a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, so that, as you correctly pointed out, the price has been going more up than down. The government has been able to continue to subsidize the price of the 20 and 22 pound cooking gas, because when we come to the use of petroleum products, it is the people using the 20 and 22 pound cooking gas, who are the widest and largest
Right.
level of consumers. There are more cooking gas users than people who buy gas for
On the
vehicles.
pumps.
And therefore, irrespective of what the price has been, the government has continued to subsidize the price of cooking gas. So whereas for the first time, this time around, cooking gas has gone up, it has maintained a subsidy of some $13 to $14 on each tank of gas. I do not expect the opposition to come out and say, we told you yes, but unfortunately it is no. I can see the opposition moving from point to point, and that's how oppositions operate. We lost on this one, let's look for a new one.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that they were trying to get the best interest.
Believe me, I'm not getting you wrong. I'm not getting you wrong.
The best interest. But where's the foresight?
The vision. The vision.
Did you not
that is
know
what was
that
absent.
when
The vision
that it
was absent. I think again when you politicize economic issues, yeah, dollars and cents don't depend on us. This is what happens when you politicize.
But is this a problem
issues.
in the region? Are we Caribbean people so accustomed to a quick fix that we don't ever like to stabilize?
Not only
anything?
the region, I think it is wider than that. I think, for example, let's take crime and politics. I hate to hear any government compare. There were, well, not government, police forces. There were more deaths this year than last year. And there were more deaths in the first 4 years of the UWP than in the first 4 years of the SLP. Crime is not politics. When people go to shoot and kill people, they don't say I'm doing it for SLP or for UWP. And therefore, crime is a societal issue that affects us all. Similarly, economics. Similarly, gas price. When the rain fall, it fall on all house tops, irrespective of who is inside. And I think that the opposition has recognized, but will never acknowledge, that it made a fundamental error. People are paying more for petroleum products on the basis of the government submitting to the pressure of the opposition, which had people thinking that the government was stealing. And then I went to Everett Jean-Marie as a petroleum dealer who's in the issue 24/7. He came out and said, listen, the 90-day thing will be much better because it would allow us a greater level of comfort waiting for the next price rather than twice a month. He was accused of being SLP, of being a stooge of the government, and all of that. Mr. Richard Peterkin took a similar position, and he too was accused of being a government stooge. So that today, when we all end up paying more, including those who who can afford, and those who were predicting that it would have been less, I think that the difference between now and 20 years ago is that the average consumer is more conscious of the reality.
Right. And so I am speaking as the average consumer. I know, yes, I am on television and maybe I am not supposed to probably
No. Let me tell you something that I keep telling Kendall. You're a citizen first and foremost. A human being first and foremost.
Which is here we go, old school, new school. You see, my generation, we want to speak on how we feel. And I'm telling you that as the average consumer who drives from up north to VG every day for work, I'm very disappointed that we've switched to this 3-week mechanism when we could have been more stable as a fuel, you know, economy.
Let's take planning. The Chamber of Commerce did point out at that time that moving from 90 days to 30 days would be bad for planning.
It would be.
Businesses have been able to plan their fuel costs on the basis of the 3
But
months.
yet still, we change. Why? Because a bunch of people put on orange shirts and they marched from Jomari into town. Is that the reason why we changed?
Yeah, into town. I would like to believe that that is not why we did
Well,
it.
I would like to believe that as well, because that means that I can rally up some people and go and march in town
and get government to change its
get
mind.
government to change its mind on anything. Then is that what's going on?
And in as much as the loudspeakers for the opposition were quick to claim victory and say we forced the government to lower the price,
I call it silence of the lambs.
yeah. Everybody is seeing a difference now, and guess what? The opposition is planning more demonstrations.
I'm annoyed with the government because the government should have known better and they should have stand their grounds with the 3 months. And I'm annoyed with the opposition for having advocated for something that had no foresight, that did not benefit St. Lucians in the long run. And I'm even more annoyed with them now that when people are now trying to, the citizens of St. Lucia are trying to understand, well, what's going on, they're not even trying to explain it.
What you have just done is express the annoyance of the average young person who sees politics as, you know, something we should not get involved with, because here you have a government that is not listening, here you have an opposition that is ill-advising, and here you have a society that is not ready to listen to us.
I like to look at my government as a mother. A mother always knows what's best for her child. If you know that too much candy is bad for your child, you stick your grounds and you don't give your child candy. Vice versa, despite what people say. If you knew very well that this 3 weeks mechanism is a short-term fix, then why didn't you stick your grounds?
Okay, let me tell you what I was able to trace, and it comes out of my experience and my proximity to the political leadership in St. Lucia today. I listened to the Prime Minister's address where he was announcing the shift to the 3-week review mechanism, and there were words he used there during that address. He said, in essence, he said, listen, we are going to do this, but we believe that history will force us to revisit this decision down the road. And I think that the government is at the point right now where it cannot but revisit, because businesses cannot plan.
But then why do
nobody
it?
can plan.
So why do it? Why do it?
Why do it? Because what you're dealing with is government is driven by politics, and here you have an opposition which is claiming that the government is stealing money that is supposed to be coming.
But the politics is crippling the country. We are not in the same economic times as we used to be before,
But not
when we can
everybody-
afford to have the two parties
Not
back to
everybody
back,
believes that.
right? We are now going into new times. We're going to tougher challenges. It's a new era. We need to come away from this sort of politics, and we need to now just think of what's best for the country.
That's what we need, but that's not what we have. We have to distinguish between what we wish and what exists. We're still, unfortunately, in a situation where we have our politics is bipartisan. It's either UWP or SLP. They ain't got no third party. Green, red, brown, blue, NPM, email party. No third party has made an impression in St. Lucia. However, try and remember, the last election, the staff party got more votes than George Odlum.
But the staff party, at least they knew how to reach. I don't care if they say all we interested is in chicken and rum, because at least I know
The
if I'm
staff party
guaranteed to get a
got
good
young
tasting,
people to come out and vote.
I'm
Cast a
guaranteed
ballot.
a good tasting piece of chicken though.
Oh, yeah,
But
oh, yeah.
other than this gas now that I'm not guaranteed. Do you understand where I'm going? So let me go with what I know that I'm guaranteed, what I know that I'm sure for, which is the position young people have. We don't know what
You
the
think young
UW
people are ready to form a party?
I think
I know Chris tried, but Chris, I think the cross was between the Lucian program and the Lucian politics. I think people got stuck between distinguishing between a TV program
Right.
and a political party. However, like I said, it is significant that sufficient young people felt that Christopher Hunt was the future to vote for him. I'm not sure whether they felt that he could have been
We
the
have to
next
stick
prime
a pin in
minister,
that.
but more, I suspect it was a protest vote.
Well,
To
we're
say
going to
it's
stick
our
a
time.
pin in that. We're going to come back to that topic when we get back. We have to go for a break. You're watching Press Club. More when we get back.